What do you want to talk about? Do you want some libations? Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly. Come on, everybody. Come on over here and have some of this liquor with me before we start talking about pro wrestling. So we can get completely drunk and not realize what the fuck we're looking at. Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly. Anyway, I watched Donald Trump on 6 Feet Under with The Undertaker. And I feel like Teddy Long booked this. Teddy Long told Donald Trump, you gonna go one-on-one with The Undertaker. Anyway, so basically, it was intro to WrestleMania 30. I do appreciate them giving you timestamps, because ain't no way. What's the ring like? Do people really get angry? Who are the greatest wrestlers of all time? Who are the greatest stars of now? What keeps Donald Trump going? Receiving art and fan mail constantly. His famous mugshot. How to become interested in wrestling. 6 Feet Under start growing. Showing more of his personal side. The Undertaker. The second assassination attempt. And then the upcoming election. So, it's fine when Donald Trump is, I guess, lightweight interviewing The Undertaker. But when Donald Trump starts talking about the election and what he perceives to be going on, the misinformation train pulls out of the station. And baby, those rails are oiled up. And that thing is chugga, 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 chugga. And these two fucking idiots are sitting there and letting this man do it. So, some people have said, well, it's his views and he could have his views and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I have to give a little pushback on that, because this man said that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are eating cats and dogs. And if you agree that this is happening when it comes to immigrants, then there's no way that I can take you seriously and indulge in your whatever it is that you're trying to sell. I cannot separate the art from the artist. I can't do it. I can't do it. Some people say, oh, well, Batista, he was talking about Camala Harris. Yeah, he was just talking cash shit. He wasn't pushing misinformation. Okay? Now, here's my takeaways, as I wrote them down, because you know I get the rambling, and I don't want this to be long. There was a sexist comment about booze and women. Donald Trump asked Undertaker, does he indulge in booze and women? And Undertaker was like, well, you know, I pushed back on that. And Donald Trump was like, you know, that's a bad mixture. And they was like, yeah. Celebrated the mugshot. Donald Trump had his mugshot because he was indicted and convicted on all charges. 36 of them. But somehow that mugshot he proceeded to say is bigger than Elvis, is bigger than Frank Sinatra. So it's cool that his mugshot's cool, but God forbid somebody else has a mugshot, or hell breaks loose. Allowed to spew lies. He lied about election. He lied about his crowd sizes. He's lying about the border, the southern border specifically, because for some reason they never talk about the northern border, which is Canada. Those people are spilling in. And guess what, y'all? Quiet as it's kept, the people who overstay their visas are white people and foreign white people, not the people that you see at the border. Talked about 2020 in terms of her qualifications, her being Camala Harris, would not say her name. Basically said when she ran in 2020, she dropped out the race. And it's true. I do pay attention to politics. Not as much now because it's ridiculous. But she did drop out the race because the DNC picked Joe Biden. Like, they literally said, this is who we're going with, and we don't give a fuck what y'all want, because a majority of people were trying to get Bernie Sanders. And the DNC said absolutely not, because they do choose who is going to represent the party during these elections. So that was the lie. Her qualifications, the woman is more than qualified. And it's becoming a joke to continue to talk about this woman's qualifications because she didn't fucking work at McDonald's. Like, I never worked at McDonald's, and gives a fuck. And to be honest, outside of me and maybe 6 other people, a majority of Americans' first job was McDonald's. So that's not really far-fetched. Complains about the new person. So this is the complaint, and this is hilarious. When you watch Donald Trump sitting sunk in his seat, he is the old guy in the room. Okay? Before, it was Joe Biden. Donald Trump is upset because Joe Biden was an easy layup. Joe Biden is in decline mentally, maybe. He's tired. He's just like clicking along. He did terrible at that debate. And Donald Trump thought he had a layup. He thought he had it in the bag. Like, yes. And so people were like, Biden, go ahead and step down. His party asked him to step down. Joe Biden didn't turn around and say, well, I'm going to step. No, they asked him because he did so terrible. And you know what? You can do that. You can do that. And so they did that, and they said, well, we're going to put forth Camala Harris. And the fact that she's a woman, she is visibly black, Asian descent, South Asian descent, also Caribbean descent of Jamaican. He can't do nothing with her. She's well-spoken, although she does do the word salad a lot, okay? But she's well-spoken. She is very particular in her debate prep. She looks good. She's young. She's 60. The woman's healthy, ready to go, okay? He can't do nothing with her. See, he can call Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, shut your old ass up, you look a mess. He can't call her the N-word, coconut, bitch, hoe, slut, dog, trail bat. But see, that's what his supporters are calling her. By the way, it's really gross, and the sexism and misogyny is at an all-time high. Hillary Clinton had to deal with it too. Every woman that wants to step forward and participate in the United States politics or anything otherwise that's dominated by males, specifically white males, are going to get reamed. Some people said they wanted Michelle Obama to run. I said absolutely not, because I had to spend 4 years watching you all call her men, monkeys, masculine, and the like, and you still do it. So that is what his complaint was. He feels that was a cheap move to take her out the race because he was winning. That's not what it was. The DNC said, we got to win this. We got to get this guy out of here so we can get things done. Okay? The RNC would love to get Donald Trump up out of there. But who are they going to put there? J.D. Vance? Please. There is nobody. This is it. Another one. UnderTaker agrees a coup because Biden stopped running. The UnderTaker, in his own mouth, listening to Donald Trump's reasoning as to why Biden dropped out and Kamala came in, he said they ran a coup. And I wanted to bust out laughing because the coup that was ran, the coup d'etat, was on January 6th. And that was just a test run. And they got extremely fucking far with that coup. And I feel like if it happens again, it's going to be some heavy duty shit going down. And I just want to be in the house with my family chilling, okay? Because I don't give a fuck. Another thing, sensationalized the shootings. He got this story about the cartilage in the ear, and if you shoot the ear, the cartilage, it bleeds a lot. Donald Trump and his ear looks like nothing happened. I seen boxers with bigger cauliflower ears because of their cartilage exploding in their fucking ear than this guy who got shot by a high-powered rifle and nothing's wrong with his ear. And you want to do conspiracy theories? I think he set both of them up. There you go. Anything to get the vote. Oh, and then you took that picture, and then the American flag is upside down. Like, come on. Another takeaway, voting should be one day. How? Unless you're going to give people the day off and have voting from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. How is it one day? Ohio restricted voting so fucking bad that you will be standing in line for hours just to cast a ballot in these early voting. And you better hope that your mailman's not psycho, because he'll take your mail-in ballot and throw it in the garbage. Like, I'd vote on the day of, because it's at a church and it's not really packed like that. So, and it's next door, which I love. But they gerrymander and cheat so bad, and it's not just Ohio, it's all the red states. Really disenfranchise the populace of those states. And in order to vote, it's become a job. So he has a problem with voting being 19, 20 days. He has a problem with that. It's 300 fucking million people in the United States. Last thing, and this is the biggest thing that I think the Undertaker showed very much callousness, a failure in parenting. And I mean, we can argue about it. He brought his young daughter out because she plays sports. And Donald Trump went on a whole diatribe about transgenders playing in sports and how this is going to ruin her career and destroy everything and all these things. Now, she plays football, okay? And so what Donald Trump is saying, now he's saying this to this girl who it looks like about maybe 12, 13. First of all, I wouldn't bring no children around Donald Trump. That's number one, especially girls. He's saying to her some things that are very distasteful, that breeds intolerance, it breeds discrimination. He's basically telling her, well, we can't have these transgenders taking over your sports because you're not going to be able to win. Then he talked about a boxer blasted a woman. Then he talked about some volleyball where the transgender hit the ball and blasted the woman to space, and she was devastated. Then he said in a powerlifting competition, the person transitioned from a male to female and power lifted and knocked everybody out the box. First of all, this is not something that's happening all the time. It's very concentrated, and it's one person out of like millions, okay? I would like to say the reason why we don't hear about transgender males is because transgender males have a higher probability of being violated violently. They already know that they can't go down and get into football. They can't get into basketball. They can't get into golf or hockey because the hyper masculinity of it all for a transgender male, it's a high possibility that that person can be raped because y'all rape each other simply when you're hazing, and these are all men. And it opens up to some hardcore violence where a transgender female, I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do? And you know, women, not that it's an infiltration thing because it's not happening a lot, but when you talk like this guy, you would think they're invading spaces, and they're not. Then he cracked a joke and said, the Undertaker, if he transitioned into a woman, how would you like to wrestle him? Well, we don't have to like make a think about it because you got Nyla Rose and you got, oh my god, what's old girl that's now in Maple Leaf who is also transgender and she wrestles with the girls. So let's just not be dumb. It was really unnecessary to have this child sitting up there listening to this bullshit, and the Undertaker's dead fucking wrong. And this is how you breed and continue discourse and make shit uncomfortable for other people. Because she'll take that shit right back to her school, which I'm sure is as lily white as the driven snow, with this nonsense and bullshit that Donald Trump is spewing. It was really distasteful and it was unnecessary. And I think this was probably the worst thing that the Undertaker allowed to happen with his young daughter in front of him. So the Undertaker goes on to say, thank you for taking care of women's sports. It's near and dear to my heart. Oh! But all the other women's rights issues, I guess, who gives a fuck? Because your daughter isn't going to experience anything outside of women's sports and some transgender that does not exist in her hometown taking her quarterback position because she plays quarterback. Politics, fun again. You know, millionaires could say this because they're so fucking detached from reality that it's fun playing with people's lives, putting people in danger. That whole Springfield shit and telling people they're eating cats and dogs, you know them people got attacked for weeks, if not still. And what's going on in Springfield was never really talked about because it had nothing to do with just the 2,000 people that live there. Like, you're taking away rights and chipping away rights because you want to be a fucking dictator. I don't find that fun, Undertaker. That's really it. That's all I got. So you don't have to. Tell me what y'all think in the comments if you made it this far. Deuces.